Yeah, these pictures no doubt helping to trigger the European Union's latest move. It's approved a fourth set of sanctions against Russia. The measures target individuals and entities involved in aggression against Ukraine, along with sectors of the Russian economy, and they include a ban on Russian steel and iron imports, an export ban on luxury goods, and a ban on investment in the energy sector. Well, let's get some more on the implications of those sanctions. I'm joined now by Nina Trentman, who's the bureau chief of the Wall Street Journal, CFO Journal in New York. Nina, thank you very much. Good to see you. And let's just start from the point of what impact this fourth raft of measures really actually can make.
Well, it comes on top, of course, of various rounds of sanctions already that we've seen from the European Union, from the UK and from the US. So even though sort of in the end, probably this round of sanctions, not sure like how much it can add in terms of saying, OK, this will be the thing that stops Vladimir Putin. Probably not. But I think it illustrates this wish from the European Union and also from other Western governments to just use basically as many of the tools that they can in this current situation to try to restrain Russia's wealth and also the operating of its economy as much as possible. And of course, that also involves rich individuals that have yachts all over Europe and in other places, even though it's probably fair to say that in the end, sort of each and every sanction will not necessarily be the one thing that stops this war. But in the end, the combination of all of the different factors that have come together.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt you're having to keep a very close eye on the compilation of the list of big companies in particular who are deciding they can no longer operate within and with Russia. But there must also be still a bit of a hush-hush approach from some companies who are going below the radar, aren't they?
Well, at least in terms of the list of companies that have withdrawn or are withdrawing, I think it's now 375 companies based on Yale School of Management. I think the question is very much, what do we mean by withdraw? And there are, of course, companies on that list that are just halting operations and just saying, OK, well, we'll stop and we'll see where things are going. And so it's very difficult to keep track of what companies are actually doing, given that there's a limited amount of journalists that are still operating in Russia. And we're hearing from companies just very selective information about what they're actually doing with their operations, given that they're still very much assessing the situation. It's changing on a regular basis. Companies, of course, are also afraid that there might be any retaliatory action from the Russian government, where Vladimir Putin has already said that he would be in support of a law that would basically result in seizure of Western assets in Russia as a form of revenge against the companies that have said that they would withdraw from the country. So I think from a corporate perspective, it is certainly a difficult situation to navigate. On the one side, companies are seeing themselves under pressure to do something and to respond to criticism from customers. And on the other side, of course, they are also unsure as to what's going to happen and what the best way of this withdrawal actually is.
And Nina, very briefly, if you can, the fact is, and it's a harsh reality, gas and oil revenues continue to flow in, presumably.
Yeah, there's, of course, still a lot of countries that consume energy from Russia, including Germany, other EU countries, Japan, for example. So there's not necessarily in each of these situations an easy fix where you could say, OK, we'll just switch it off because there's no alternatives, at least not in the short term. So that results in still revenue flowing into the Russian government and at these elevated prices that we're seeing at the moment.
And that's very difficult
of course,
to
funds.
that
very
are still
difficult
continuing
to flow into the government.
Indeed. Nina, thank you very much indeed. Nina Trentman.